Hey, what's up, universe? It is 6:40 a.m. Central Time on Monday, October 9th, 2023. This will probably hopefully be a quick one. Just a couple updates. Things that happened last night that I found were a little interesting, and I don't know what to make of them. So I arrived to my spot where I'm sleeping. And I'm pretty aware of how things are set up and how I left them. I keep note of these things. I work to return things to the way that I found them, and I've kind of been like that my whole life. So I'm pretty good about remembering the detail of like how things were arranged and such. So one of the first things I noticed was a cigarette butt on the ground, which seems like that would probably be something really small, but I was like, this was not here before. So I was like, okay, well, that's just one thing. Maybe it blew in, from the wind. Maybe it was out, in the parking lot there and whatever. And then I went to go check, on my stuff, my bedding, which I have contained in a plastic bag with another plastic bag on top of it to kind of encapsulate it, from the elements. And on top of that, I had like a little crate, and then my shoes. I have a pair of sandals like Birkenstocks, and then I have a pair of shoes, and I wear the shoes for work. And yesterday I didn't work, so I left my shoes, with my bedding. And again, I kind of just remember how I positioned the crate and my shoes and things like this, and they seemed a little off. And I was like, and then when I was taking the top bag off, to get into where my bedding is, I noticed that it wasn't placed, it wasn't encapsulated the way that I had left it, basically, just the plastic bags. Nothing inside of my bags or inside of the bag had been disturbed. I just noticed that the top bag was not placed the way that I had placed it originally. And I was like, okay, like I am now quite certain that my bedding has been found. And it would make sense that that location where I'm choosing to sleep at night would be a kind of a place to go for somebody to smoke, because it's back behind a building, and it just makes sense. So I was like, well, so that raised a little bit of anxiety for me, because like none of my stuff was disturbed. Like there wasn't, I was just kind of like, well, now somebody knows that I'm here, right? And so I laid there, I set up my stuff, and I laid there, and I was like, well, what do I do? And I figured, well, I'm going to write a little note, just kind of explaining my situation, letting whoever had found my stuff, let them know where they can locate me if they would like to talk to me. I was just making myself known, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I had been discovered, so let me make an introduction, basically. Now, that's one thing that happened last night. As I'm writing this note, like, here where I'm at, spending my time, I've noticed another man in the evenings hanging out until the store closes, up here as well. And it wasn't last night, but it was the night before that, I left a little bit prior to him. And there was just something intuitively where I was like, I wonder if this individual is kind of in the same spot that I am in. If he's looking for a place to kind of huddle down for the night. And that was 2 nights ago. So last night, when I'm writing my note, my little introduction note, this individual happened upon my spot, and I actually spooked him because he didn't see me. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, I startled him, and I didn't mean to. He was like, I didn't know you were here. He's like, oh, and he basically left pretty much right away. and I have no idea where he was able to find shelter for the night. So those were two things that happened last night. It's kind of like two different discoveries in the same day, right? Discovery by two different people. I don't know what to make of that. I'm just noting it. And I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to sleep last night because I was like a little nervous and anxious because of these developments. I was able to get some rest. And I thought about this other man, and I have, my own bedding that I'm using. And then over, at Angela's, I have 2 other comforters that I'm not using because I don't want to store those where I'm at. I'm not looking to move all of my stuff. I'm looking to keep whatever I have at this location where I'm sleeping to a minimal amount of, stuff. And I thought about this other man, and I was like, well, I'm not using these comforters, He may need them, So today, I don't see him during the day. I don't see him until later in the evening. Probably not until like 8 o'clock, He's usually here for a few hours, but it's later in the evening. So I may approach him and kind of check that out. And I was just thinking about that, even though I'm in the situation that I'm in, I still have some things that I can offer, you know what I mean? So I may extend that to him to see if that's something that he can use, because it's something that I have that I'm not using. And if I can aid a fellow human being, I have the means to do so, then there's no good reason for me to not, you know what I mean? Especially when I know what it's like, and I don't see him with anything, you know what I mean? I don't see him with like a pack. He's got a bag, but it's not housing his bedding. I don't see him with a sleeping bag or a pillow or anything. So if he's literally without, then then I would like to extend that to him if it's something he can use. So that's the latest developments, and like I said, I don't know what to make of that, and I find it curious. Most of the time I'm pretty even. Like, I haven't cried at all. I still think about like my mom and my sisters, and I still shake my head at that because I'm like, it still brings up some what the fuck energy for me. And because of last night and being discovered, it has kind of punctuated for me the situation. Not living with my sons, and as much as I would love to have stability, I just can't seem. I don't know. It just brings up some stuff, and I don't know what to make of it. Like, I've practiced a lot as far as not going off how things look, and trusting the process and allowing the journey to be what it is. And I think last night, and as I'm processing last night going in, to today, I might be feeling a little, I don't know if frustrated is quite the right word. I think I'm trying to think of another word. The word desire comes up, the desire for the stability and just for the things that I had, like a house and, the means to take care of myself and to provide, and all these kinds of a thing. And and it's maybe frustration is part of it, because the reason I'm in the situation that I'm in is because I'm choosing to honor what I feel is right, in the sense of like not energetically supporting things that exploit people. Like the whole reason I left Apple was because there was a department that was like just completely energetically out of alignment, and all of the jobs that I applied for that were corporate, they seemed just energetically, corporate America seems energetically out of alignment, and like this is kind of like the least, I don't know, like whatever, it's hard for me to articulate, but what I'm trying to get at is to make the money I was making before seems to be associated with that type of energy, and to put it into some type of a ratio, because I find this funny in a way. I'm gonna make in a month what I would make in a day when I was working at Apple, roughly. That's the ratio. And like I don't have. It just humors me because it's just disproportionate. You know what I mean? Like to me, it plays into the whole. Disparity of society, between the have and the have-nots, and what people can and can't live on. And this video is actually a lot longer than I meant it to be, but so I'm just grateful to be able to have something where I can start to at least purchase food. And I ran into that a little bit last night, because I ran out of the last of my peanut butter, and to get a provided meal, I have to work the same, like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and I didn't work yesterday, so I couldn't get an employee meal. And I went to buy a big jar of peanut butter, and I was like, just I don't know, like 10 or 15 cents short. So like the pennies and all, like I've lived with this for a minute, like where every mile counted in the car when I had it, like every mile that I drove counted. Every cent that I have right now counts. So I downgraded from the larger jar and finally bought a smaller jar and some bread. So I had something. I still have it, so I'm good. It's an interesting experience to go through. And it just does remind me of that song, What It's Like. By I forget who sings it, but anyway, yeah. Then you really might know what it's like. Anyway, well, that's what I got. That's my update. And thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for giving me the time and the space. Thank you for your attention and for being a part of this process with me. I'll keep you guys updated and let you know what happens. I have no idea if the individual that found my stuff will find my note and contact me or not. But yeah, like I said, I'll keep you updated. All right, I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.